This is a very interesting way to start a video. I think I'm tearing up right now, but I was reading Hebrew 12, and it feels like such a mirror of my life the past year and few months, particularly the verse where it says, "My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you. Because the Lord disciplines the one he loves, and he chastens everyone he accepts as his son." And more accurately, it says, "See that no one is sexually immoral or is godless like Esau, who for a single meal sold his inheritance rights as the oldest son. Afterward, when he wanted to inherit this blessing, he was rejected. And even though he sought the blessing with tears, he could not change what he had done." I received a blessing from God January of last year, and I didn't give it the respect and the honor that it deserved. And throughout the year, I was rejecting everything that God gave me so viscerally. And every time I rejected this blessing that I had received, I always got it back, or, it always came back to me. And until it didn't, and which is why this verse is speaking to me, because I was toying around with it and treating it as something that I deserved, almost as if it was a right, but it wasn't a right, it was a blessing. And in the end, when I no longer had it and it's no longer the reality of my life, I tried to get it back through, you know, tears and through deep stress and heartache, but it didn't matter because I rejected it, and I was unfaithful throughout that time that I had it. And um, even though I was the one who initially rejected it, it doesn't feel like that was real until it no longer was something that I had, and it rejected me, and that blessing is now gone. And I just remember throughout the past year praying so hard to God to change the way I think or that I feel, or to make me this or to make me that. But then I would always reject God at the end of the day, but still want to hold on to the blessings that He gave me. And it's a tough path to walk when you are a believer, but you are choosing the godless route, right? It's so, you're not doing what you innately believe is right, but at the end of the day, you still get surprised when you get backlash for it, or when things don't go your way. And I think I was drawn to reading Hebrew 12 because I still don't really know what it means to deny myself. I think I still struggle with knowing who or what is the voice of God. It always comes to me in retrospective analysis, where I can know that, okay, well, obviously I'm suffering now, but I am not suffering through a God given trial, I'm suffering through a self inflicted trial, so likely due to me denying God and denying my faith. And it's through those situations and those experiences where I realized, okay, maybe I was following my own self, following whatever path the first thing that my mind came to instead of what I know I should. But I don't really know what that means. Like, what does that mean? Knowing I should to do what? Like, it's so easy to get so confused when things aren't clearly spelled out to me. And I remember asking God to give me a sign, right? If this blessing I had, I should not have it, or I should step away from it. And I wasn't given that sign. But then I kept thinking, oh, well, maybe it's a sign that I'm asking a silly question, or maybe like I'm just not getting the answer that I needed. And I kept gaslighting myself into thinking the answer that I needed was that I didn't deserve this blessing, which is why I felt like I could continue to reject it and continue to push it away. And at the end, when that did happen, it didn't feel good. And I was just toying with what I felt like I deserved based off of how I was operating. But even when I wasn't being completely faithful, I still had this blessing, and it is definitely for sure something that I can label as a blessing from God. It's not some, it's, yeah. So to deny yourself is to know God. Because if you don't know God, then you don't know who God is, and you don't know who yourself is, right? And when you know who God is, you know that you are of God, right? You're not of yourself. So if you know who God is and you're following God, then you're not ever going to be, I guess, following yourself because you're following God, right? It's so peculiar, that phrase, like deny yourself, because it means, you would think that it means that you have to further lean into yourself to know yourself so that you can then deny it. But actually, what it means is to not do that, and means to lean into God, to know God, to build that relationship with God so that you're following God, right? There is no direction or path to following yourself because all you're focused on is following God. And I think that's very beautiful. It's really hard to do it though. 2025 hasn't been the best year for me so far. Um, and I have definitely felt very far away from God. I've definitely leaned into despair a lot. I've been greatly discouraged, and I just feel so weak. And it's very interesting because I guess as a believer, even though I do feel weak and I do feel far away, like I don't, there's that, there's that tiny little North Star at the end where I know I can get through this and I know things will improve, but suffering is hard. It really is. And it's really hard to know that we will suffer. It will come, and we have to armor up ourselves and be equipped to handle it, or else we may be attacked by despair and discouragement. So, anyone who is feeling this way or has any words of encouragement, please send it over. I definitely think it is something that I need. And I don't want to cry anymore.